week's Texas Roadhouse press conference. Got a busy week going on. Tuesday, women's basketball is on the road at Sul Ross. That game in Alpine will begin at 5 o'clock. And Tuesday night, we'll be hosting the first round of the Lone Star Conference volleyball tournament against Dallas Baptist. That match will start at 6 o'clock. Thursday, men's and women's swimming and diving is at the Southwest Shootout, Thursday through Saturday in San Antonio, Texas. The Lone Star Conference volleyball tournament kicks off Thursday. If the Falcons advance, they'll take on Angelo State at 2:30 in Commerce, Texas. Saturday, men's and women's basketball have their first conference doubleheader of the season. The women open against Western New Mexico at 2 o'clock, and the men take on Western New Mexico at 4 o'clock. A couple things that happened this week. Chris Hood and John O'Kelly's video has reached over 900,000 people in the last 36 hours. We'll have them available for you guys after we conclude today's press conference. And earlier today, just a few minutes ago, Chris Hood was named the Lone Star Conference Defensive Player of the Week for his efforts, 14 tackles and a touchdown in the team's 70-14 win against Texas A&M Kingsville. All right, today we'll start with head women's basketball coach Ray Booth, who is coming off a pair of wins against Arlington Baptist and Dallas Christian last week.
How are you doing?
Doing good.
Pretty good.
Let's talk about the weekend, Coach. How it went.
Well, the week overall was a pretty good week for us. We were pretty tired coming back from Denver. The previous week we got back at like 8 o'clock Sunday morning. And we were going to find out pretty quick how tough we were that afternoon when we came back to practice to prepare for our game on Monday versus Arlington Baptist. And overall, it was a very productive week. Good couple wins, couple confidence boosters. But this week, of course, we're really focused on taking that up a level to prepare for Lone Star Conference play, which is far more competitive than what we had last week.
Yeah, and you had 6 players in double digits this past weekend. How does it feel to know that you have such a widespread array of offense?
Well, I think a large scoring margin helps your confidence. In a moment, you kind of throw it up there, and you see the ball go in, and then it just starts to be a trickle effect. I think that's what happened for us all week. The opposite happened the weekend before in Denver, where we played really tight, the score was close, or we didn't see the ball go in the basket. So I think, it's great that we have the potential, but we need to sustain a level of confidence to be able to do that through Lone Star Conference play. But I said from day one, and I will hopefully continue to say, our freshman class is very special. This past week we started 3 freshmen in our lineup. We'll see if they're still in it come Saturday. But our freshman class, I think, the more they get, the more experience they get, the better that we're going to become.
Coach, offensively in your scheme, what are a couple things that you really liked coming out of the weekend, and maybe a couple things that you guys could improve on?
We shot well all week long, I'd say, from the perimeter. We need to score a little bit more in the open court, and I think that's just going to up our level of defense intensity. We need to do that to be able to get transition buckets. And we need to play stronger around the rim. Second chance points, we need to capitalize on those a lot more. We need to play tougher. We need to finish and ones when we have those opportunities. And we really need to shoot better from the free throw line and stop fouling.
And what were a couple things that you liked out of your team?
The perimeter shooting, and I think really our toughness, our togetherness improved a lot this week.
And you talked about the young talent earlier. Can you just speak about the way Rory played these past 2 games?
Well, really, we have 3 playing really well right now. Rory Carter stepped it up. She had 18 and 18 both games. She attacks well. She's a streaky player. She's a kind of a bully on defense, so I love that in her. She plays on both ends of the court. She's a point guard, so she's very, very skilled. Holly is a shooter, and she came out hot. She was actually the first week the Lone Star Conference. She led the Lone Star Conference in points per game. And then, other players stepped up. Like you said, we had 6 in double figures, so she didn't need to carry the same amount of weight offensively for us. And then Alexis Quadman, she had her first double-double last Monday, and that's kind of the expectation and the bar that we have for her whole career. And another freshman, Jordan Rogers, was our second leading scorer when we were in Dallas. And so really the more confidence and more experience they get, I see them be a pretty great group for us in the future.
I know it's kind of early, but y'all got a new recruit, Leah. Can you just talk about what she can bring this season?
Yeah, so she's special. we're expecting her to have a huge senior year this year, but I do believe we were lucky. I look forward to coaching her for 4 years. She is a very athletic and versatile 3-guard that we kind of, for lack of a better word, stalked all summer long and called her all the time and texted her all the time, and she ultimately found the sense of community here at UT Permian Basin, one that she wanted to be a part of, and could really see the vision and direction for us as a university and women's basketball, and want to be a part of that. So I see our freshman class every year, and this current one that we have right now, we really wanted to invest in them because we know that's really going to help us long term to get that chemistry. We see Aaliyah coming in and doing the same kind of thing for us.
Good.
Thank you.
Thank you, Coach. Okay, next up is head men's basketball coach Josh Newman. His team is coming off of an 84-77 win over the University of the Southwest yesterday afternoon.
Well, we just had one game this week. Obviously, it was yesterday. I'm not sure if our guys were with the rest of the community celebrating the football victory, but we played a little bit of sluggish. We came out of the gate fine, but as the game went on, we just kind of didn't do the things we were supposed to do to really put the game out of stretch or put the game away. So obviously, coming down the stretch, it was a lot closer than we anticipated, but that's also good. Our guys had to fight through some things, really get some key stops late in the game, which obviously gave us the victory towards the end. Go ahead.
No, sorry. Coach, I know you talked a couple weeks ago about your perimeter shooting and how you look to that be one of your strengths. When that's not going so well, what do you look for, or what do you look in your team to kind of push through when that perimeter shooting is not there?
Yeah, no, that's really good. I mean, we don't want to be a team that lives and dies by the three. Unfortunately, right now, I think we're settling for a lot of threes, but they're going in, so it's kind of one of those catch-22s. It's going in, so why are we going to stop doing it, Coach? That's not a battle I think I'm going to win, but we have to continue to educate them and say, hey, we have to have some balance. We're going to try to implement some new things this week that will give us some inside presence, I hope. But we do have to do a better job of attacking the free throw line and getting some easy baskets. That's something that we just haven't done. But again, we're having some success, and so it's kind of hard to convince them otherwise right now.
Yeah, in the game yesterday, it kind of seemed like if it wasn't a fast break, it was tough for y'all to get the offense going during the half-court set. And can you just talk about that?
Yeah, well, we've really been in transition. We got a lot of guys that are electric in the open floor, and so we want to take advantage of their strengths for sure. And then once it gets slowed down, right now our best offense is giving the ball to Pat Dembley and letting him make a play for other guys, and he's been doing a really good job with that. We just got to continue to have some balance of throwing the ball in the post and getting some offensive rebounds, getting to the free throw line so we can kind of get ready for what's coming down the road. You guys are easy today. All right, thank you guys. Good luck.
Okay, next up, senior quarterback Cameron Mathis, who threw for 3 touchdowns, ran for another touchdown, and was one of 3 Falcons to run for over 100 yards in this past weekend's win.
Can you sum up your 4 years, maybe in a few sentences?
Fast, but no, it's been a good 4 years. I wouldn't trade it for anything. It hasn't always been the best, but it's been worth it, and definitely has made me into who I am now. So can't complain. Many times that the thought to quit crosses your mind. I think it's good that you finished, made it through, didn't give into that temptation, and for all the seniors that kind of experienced that through 4 years, I can be more proud of that.
What does it mean to you, and do you think the senior class, to be a part of that first group, to, as you said, have gone through it for 4 years, at least with the games, and just made it through the journey?
I don't know, like coming in here as a freshman, we didn't really know what to expect. And so playing for 4 years after being on the other end of the score that was Saturday night, I think to put in all the work and not see it for a long time, but to see it Saturday night, I think that was kind of one of the coolest things, that to know that all that hard work wasn't for waste. It wasn't all just throwing the trash. It's definitely worth it. So just seeing that Saturday night, how that played out, was really, really neat.
Cam, what was the most fun part of just playing college football?
There's a lot of them. There's so many memories made and so many bonds made with everyone that comes in here. from being an 18-year-old kid, looking up to the one senior we had at the time, and then being the old guy around and just helping the young guys. I think that's the cool part, is getting to share your experiences with those guys and share your scars, and then watch them grow up too. And I think just seeing that transition is something that's really, really cool.
Can you talk about what you felt before the game with the whole ceremony with the seniors?
It was emotional. It was emotional. It was. I remember sitting in the locker room before the game, after the senior recognition, all that stuff, just thinking about the process and the day I got here, moving into my dorm, the workouts, all the big losses, and then the wins too throughout the year. Just remembering all those little details that I hadn't thought of in so long. And then I teared up before the game, just thinking about all that and just seeing how far I've come as a person too, and on and off the field, how much I've grown. And so it was really emotional, and I tried to hold it together most of the game. I kind of lost in the fourth quarter when I hugged Coach Kerrigan, but it was such a surreal night. Like, I can't even explain it in words. It's just so neat just to get to experience that.
Good.
Okay, next is senior defensive tackle Jacob Granado, who's coming off of his first ever career rushing touchdown.
You think you could miscast as a D-lineman?
I mean, what an experience, right? What a way to go out. Man, just like drawing it up in practice, we knew there was going to be one guy on the goal line that I was definitely going to have to truck, you know. And seeing it part of like the Red Sea, you know, like, and nobody there, it was just awesome, you know. The whole line did their job, and you know, it was a great experience, you know. And I thank Coach Carey for giving me that opportunity, because I mean, Hallmark couldn't even have filmed a better movie. That'd be just priceless.
Talk about your transformation from high school to here. How it's been the process of going through all that in 4 years.
So from high school to here there's a huge transition, because you're putting in 20 hours a week, more plus, like on your own, just studying football, you know, and you really become a true student of the game and understanding on what's going on and why things are going the way they're going, and really understanding what's all going behind the scenes. It's not just going out on Saturdays and playing the game, it's all the work and preparation that's put into it, you know. And I feel like a lot of guys have fell in love with just the process of watching film, going to 6 a.m. workouts, going to meetings, and even going to meetings on their own time, you know, studying the extra tape that they needed to study. It's a lot of work that goes into it, and I feel like a lot of people don't see that, and you just fall in love with the process, and yeah, I can't explain it, man. It's just something you just love to do.
Now what? What happens after graduation?
Well, what happens graduation? The real world hits, you know. And man, as bad as I don't want to say it, there comes a time where you got to put your big boy pants on it and go out in the workforce and do that. As of right now, I'm just looking for the opportunity to get out there and showcase what I can do.
Well, kind of like I was asking Cameron, what was it like for you to be part of the first group to, you know, go through the 4 years here, especially being, you know, obviously from the area and helping to bring kind of college football to the base?
Well, there was 77 freshmen that first year, and some of those memories they're gonna stay with me forever, you know. And you know, growing up, going through the program, I really didn't have the older guys to look up to, or you know, there was like no words of wisdom to get, and becoming the older guy is just like, oh, that's me. Like, I'm supposed to give that advice, you know. And seeing everybody come in and things like that is just being able to share my experiences and my memories. You know, it's just football for me only lasted 5 years, but the brotherhood and bond that I built with these guys is gonna last forever.
We saw you up here at week 1 of the season, and you know, Coach Kerrigan brought you up here to give a few words about going into your final season. From that week up until now, what's been the most memorable part in the progression of this team?
Well, the most memorable part is probably scoring a touchdown. You know? it's really, you know, like, you don't know how much you care for something until it's not there. And, you know, it's just, I fell in love with the process of how everything laid out, and I believe that God had a plan. And just seeing the time tick down, like, I just wanted that play clock to just go a little bit slower, you know, and embrace all those memories and moments that I was feeling at that moment, you know. When it came down, when the fourth quarter came down, when it started, I mean, me and Cam looked at each other, and Cam told me, he said, "We're gonna get you one." And you know, I got all emotional and things like that, but just looking at the start of the fourth quarter, like, this is my last college quarter, like last football quarter, you know. And that moment, I just tried to soak everything in, from the crowds to the sideline to the coaches to everything that was being said that day. It's just so surreal, you know. It's hard to believe that it's over, you know. But you know, I'm glad to be in this position and to go out with a bang like that.
Do you know what the next part is for you after football?
We're still finding out.
How much did you talk to Ken about hitting that slide at the 1 yard line so you had a chance to get in there?
Well, when we called the timeout, we called the play. Coach Gary called the play, and Cam looked at me. He said, "We're gonna get you one." And you know, I just showed him some love before the play was ran, and I was like, "Man, I could have walked in," you know. but seeing him slide, you know, I was like, that's my dude, man. That's real love right there. And you know, it's just seeing it, I was like, man, it's go time. You know, it's time to do what we've been practicing. And it happened. The opportunity presented itself.
Congratulations.
Thank
All right, next up is head coach Justin Kerrigan coming off a 70-14 win over Texas A&M Kingsville.
Good win.
Thank you. Great win. I echo everything that Cam and Jacob have said. So, you wish that clock would have ticked slower and kind of froze time. It's a good night.
Both of these guys talked about brotherhood, and it was shown by Chris Huddle and O'Kelly on that last play as well. Can you just talk about how you built this team to have such a brotherhood type of atmosphere?
Before I go there, I'll make sure I get a shameless plug. As Jacob said, there was more than just one hallmark moment. So if they would like, we'd love to partner with them. And, recreate maybe Saturday Night Lights by Hallmark. My wife loves her Christmas special. So. I think the first thing is you got to give credit to the locker room, the guys. The brotherhood starts with them. The bond starts with them. I don't think there's a lot as a coach that you can do to take credit for any of that. Great young men. I think the guys that came along, especially in those first two classes, 2015, 2016, I think there's a special bond of gone through what they did in building the program. You know, the 2015 class was a little bit different, and everything that they went through. 2016 class came in with a turf field and the locker room already ready to go, but they all battled the same demons on a Saturday night of being a brand new program. So I think there's a special bond just in the things that they went through and the growth that took place within that locker room with those guys. I think that's something they'll have forever, and I think that's something that is more deserving credit to them.
Coach, being able to see that play with Chris Hode on Sunday Night Football, how cool was that moment?
It was beyond cool. I don't know how to put it in words. When I opened up Facebook and saw CBS Sports had put it out, I looked at it again, and it's at 6 figures of views. Sunday Night Football, NBC tweeted out. That's on a whole different level. That's just stuff in the Division II world you just don't see very much. And beyond that, anybody seeing that play other than those that were there, it was a special moment. For a guy in the midst of a play going 85 yards for a touchdown, a defensive player, that's a once-in-a-lifetime play. John Kelly's probably not going to have many more opportunities like that, but to give that up, and to the guy he gave it to, I think that's pretty special. But again, I think it says a lot about the bonds that were built in that locker room over the last 4 or 5 years.
How much did it mean to you guys, just kind of, I was looking over the series that you guys have had with Kingsville, a team that, that first year when you guys were starting out, a rough go, and then made a little more progress second year, almost got them last year, and then to not only win, but to kind of win emphatically. How kind of poetic did that feel, just kind of to encapsulate the journey you guys have been on?
It felt amazing. We talked about that first year game, talked about it at halftime. I also sent a screenshot of what that final score was that first year to those seniors after the game. There was a few times within that game that first year where it would have appeared as if we were an attempt to embarrass us. A surprise onside kick, lined up in field goal formation to spread out and go for it on 4th down, score a touchdown. They do a throwback screen to their left tackle, and attempt to score a touchdown. I feel like they pulled out all the stops year one. Life of a football coach, everything kind of stays with you. But if you ask my wife, I forget everything. I remember most football, and there was zero intention Saturday night to run the score up. I don't really believe in that. I think it was great for our senior class, as Cam said, to be able to put it all together one time, and against a team that I know every guy in that locker room from 2016 remembered that game. Something that was talked about a bunch. That a freshman class that didn't really appreciate that night down in Kingsville, Texas in 2016. I'm happy for them to be able to go out the way they did.
Coach, you talked after the game about this being a different kind of conference victory for your program. Can you expand on that a little?
Yeah, ending the year 2 out of the 3 against conference opponents that we haven't had a victory against, I think are big for the program. I don't know how many others think about it, but just for me personally, thinking about getting a victory over a team in Texas, it was important to me. I think it was important to our program that we've gotten New Mexico taken care of over the past 3 years. To get one in Texas, I think was big for the program. The emphatic win, I think, is huge. Obviously, something that we would all like to have seen a lot more often on Saturday nights, but it was a great display of the work that they've put in over the past 4 years. But again, to get it and win over a conference opponent within the state of Texas and one as storied as Kingsville was a good night.
Great. All right, we'll close out today's press conference with head volleyball coach Tim Lesh, whose Falcons are the number 7 seed in this week's Lone Star Conference volleyball tournament and take on Dallas Baptist tomorrow night at home.
Good afternoon. Volleyball had a big weekend, and we have a big week ahead of us as well. But one of the biggest things this weekend was we got to honor our seniors. And all 3 seniors have class at this time, so they couldn't be here last week or this week. So I'd like to open with just a few words about them. First is Skylar Friel. She's a middle hitter. She transferred here as a sophomore, started every single match after that. Has a lot of great stats and was LSC first team all conference, LSC all academic, and set the school record for hitting percentage last year. All 3 are captains, and I'll speak a little bit more about their leadership after I go through the next one. Trevonna Matthews, another middle hitter for us. She's a 2-time all Lone Star Conference selection, and is set to break Skylar's hitting percentage record this year. So a lot of good things from her there. Last but not least, Kiera Granados, been a starting setter for us all 4 years. She's been in and out a little bit with injuries this year, but battled through on senior day and played then, and hopefully we'll have her this week. She's number 4 in assists all time and has earned Lone Star Setter of the Week and been on academic honor roll for Lone Star every single semester. But besides their stats and academic awards, I've been really impressed with their leadership and being great teammates their whole time here. And a lot like football, we've had our struggles, so I'm really happy. Just really happy for them, for our team's success. And I'll take questions now.
Talk about hosting the first round. Talk about it, what it means to your program, and going forward, what you expect.
Yeah, it's great that we're in the playoffs again for the second year. We're excited about that. But it's something new to get to host a conference tournament game, and we're super stoked. We're a good home team. We're going to fight hard, and we want to make it, the norm that we're, playing at home, one of the better seeds, and a threat to win the conference tournament. That's one of our team goals, and we're happy to start at home and really excited. Hopefully, we'll get a good crowd.
Can you talk about how that senior leadership that you just mentioned can't help y'all in the playoffs?
Yeah, they're great leaders in the locker room, but also on the court, before rallies, during timeouts. They've become great communicators, so they'll echo what I have to say, or if I'm talking with some specific players or positions, they know what I want, what we're trying to do. They've been here for 3 or 4 years and understand our schemes and how we want to play. And we've talked about, we've got a new team this year with some transfers and freshmen having to play, and with their communication from the seniors, that just tells the kids what they want to do, but gives them a reason to do it, to play for their seniors.
Coach, you had obviously you were running a lot of lineups right through the season. You settled on one, and then you got some issues with Kara. I mean, the 5-1 working for you now with Luce doing well.
Yeah, really proud of Annalise for stepping up and doing a great job in the 5-1. And it's nice to have Kiera hopefully back too, so we have some other options. And we're going to do what's best for the team and against our opponent. And it's good to have a couple options to win and not just have to go with whatever the injuries allow. So it's great to have options. All right, thank you.
Best of luck, Coach.